I see that a lot of fans are disgruntled when it comes to Slot, the manager, as well as our performances, and I can understand why. The challenge is if we don't have a proper perspective of what the team is going through and what is happening within our team, we will have this emotional ride taking place, for every game. So, what's the proper perspective that we should have as fans? Well, number one is we must understand that we have a team that is playing for the very first time together with new players. This is a total rebuild. Now, whenever a team is going through a rebuild, it means that we need to have patience as a fan base. If we don't have patience, we will be erratic in our emotions, in our accusations, erratic in our deliberations, and also the way we think. And that's not healthy for a football fan. It's not healthy for us to be erratic and for our emotional, state of being to be up and down. So what needs to happen is we need proper perspective of our team and proper perspective of Slot as a manager. Now, let me know in the comment section as I share with you and as I talk about this perspective, what's your thoughts on it? I do value your comments and your participation because I realize our fan base are not stupid. Our fan base understands the game. Our fan base are football intellectuals. Why do I say that? Because we have been supporting, our teams under different managers for decades. For those of you that has been supporting Liverpool for more than 3 decades, I salute you, because for the last 3 decades it was a nightmare. For some of us that understand the nightmare of 3 decades of no Premier League trophy, having the worst players, purchasing the worst players, having the worst managers like Hodgson and others. But I think for us to really start enjoying the game, enjoying our football, we need to have a proper perspective. So what's this perspective? This perspective, I would call it, it's a 5-point perspective. The first point is we're a brand new team. We have brand new players coming into our team this season, like Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, Kekes that came in, and various other players like who else came into our club this season? Yeah, Kekes, Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, Alexander Isak, who's injured. I think those are the 4 key players that integrated, besides our backup goalkeeper. Don't forget Frimpong. So almost half of the team has changed. Okay, a lot of clubs players has left, like Diaz, like Nunes. And for those new team members to be integrated takes time. We can't just have 6 months and say, okay, now you need to perform. We expected these guys to perform in the first month. In the first month, some of our fan base was expecting Wirtz and Frimpong and Ekitike and Isak to perform, and when they were not performing, we threw our toys out of the cot. And I think that's a bit of immaturity from our fan base. And I can understand there's a lot of new fans coming into our football club that's supporting Liverpool because of our achievements, because of our style of play. But that does not give you reason to be hypercritical and to not have proper perspective. So with much love to the fan base, please take it from the angle that I want us to start developing a better perspective. And with me sharing this, hopefully you can give me your feedback as well, or you can totally reject what I'm saying, but I'm going to share it with you. So number one, out of 5 points, a 5-point perspective model, I would call it. Number one is our new team players has to integrate properly, and we need to give them time. Number 2 is, what's crucial is to understand that our manager Slot has does not have control over transfers, does not have control over, various aspects of the club like Klopp had. Okay, there is now a hierarchy, there is now an organogram of people that oversees the academy and development, that oversees transfers, that oversees various aspects where Klopp he led most of, those departments, hence him being so tired and, his energy being sucked out of his life and he needed a break. So the club has restructured dramatically, and I think a lot of the fan base doesn't understand that. Okay, I see in the comments, I see posts where the fan base are saying, why did Slot spend, 300 million pounds on players? Slot did not spend 300 million pounds. Slot had probably a percentage of input, but it was not Slot's decision. Okay, and I think most of us as a fan base, we don't understand that situation. And that perspective helps you to understand and helps you to see, okay, we can understand now a bit better. Okay, we're not making excuses for the team. We are not making excuses for Slot. We are not making excuses for the bad performance, but perspective versus perception. You see, our perception currently is now Slot's a bad manager. He made bad transfer decisions. He's playing bad football. He's telling the players to play the slot ball where we're passing sideways, where we are slow and lethargic, where we struggle to break down a low block. Now, most of those things are probably true based on your perception, but your perspective has to be grounded in facts. Okay, and if your perspective is not grounded in facts, you will start being erratic and you will start making decisions like Slot out and like making all types of accusations. So my challenge and my encouragement to our fan base is to really start developing a perspective of where we are at as a team. Okay, so I mentioned number one, we are a brand new team that takes time to play together and that takes time to get to know each other. Now we've seen with Ekitike and Florian Wirtz, they are starting to gel, they are starting to play together, they are starting to know each other, and it takes time. Now imagine, give them the rest of the season, imagine how we're going to be playing next season. Now most of you say, but we want to see the performances now, we want to see our team playing well now. Well, I've got bad news for you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen this season. We have to literally write off the season and be more realistic as far as our expectations when it comes to what we can achieve. I think top four we can achieve. We can achieve Champions League football qualification. We can achieve, winning maybe the FA Cup or ending up in the last 8 or the last 4 in the Champions League. Those are all achievable goals. But trying to think we are going to still challenge to defend the Premier League is ridiculous. Thinking that we are going to win the Champions League is ridiculous. So I think with that mindset, it helps us to be a bit more calmer, to not enjoy our football a bit better, but for us to understand, okay, this is where our club is, this is where our team is at with regards to the rebuild, and now we are able to lower our blood pressure. Okay, so number 3, I think we must understand that our new football philosophy is being implemented at our team. Now, the new football philosophy, now we understand the old, or I wouldn't say the old philosophy. Our football DNA was always playing good football. Okay, it's the passing game, but not the passing to the back game. It's the passing forward. It's the building up, but really going in all-out attack. And I think that's the DNA of Liverpool's football. What we've seen over the past couple of months has been the opposite, and we think that that's Slot's fault. It's not Slot's fault. Okay. Remember, for almost 2 to 3 months, I think it was from September, October, November, we had our worst period in 77 years. Okay. We lost like 7 games in like over like eight to 10 games. And that has caused panic, alarm bells, and it made our players, their confidence levels dropped. Now, I can tell you, once a player's confidence level drops, he thinks twice in taking an approach of, when being on the football and when playing the game, he would think twice of trying something new, or being more aggressive. He would play it safe. So what we're seeing with our players is that they are playing it safe at the moment. Why? Because they wanted to stop the rot. They wanted to stop this leakage of goals, and they wanted to stop losing. So what happened? We went on a 11 to 12 game unbeaten run. And that says a lot. It says that we are nervous, we're conceding goals in the last few minutes, but we are trying to not lose a game. Now, that's a good approach and a bad approach. A bad approach. Why a good approach? Because we cannot lose games. It's a bad approach because you're not wanting to win games, you're wanting to not lose. So that mentality has to shift. And I think Slot is responsible in shifting that mentality, in wanting to win games instead of playing it safe and not losing a game. Okay? But this notion that this is Slot's instruction to our team to play it safe, to play it more to the back, to not be adventurous, I don't think Slot is giving them that instruction. I think it's within their psyche, it's within their mentality in fearing losing the ball and conceding. So we play it safe. Okay, I hope that helps and makes sense. The fourth thing that's going to help us with our perspective of our team is that our players are not consistently playing together as a unit. So because we've had so much injuries, just look at this, our right back situation. We had Frimpong that was bought to replace Trent on the right hand side. He gets injured. So Bradley comes in as our backup. Bradley plays, he gets injured. So who plays at the right back? Szoboszlai plays at the right back. Szoboszlai plays at the right back. Other players gets injured. So now Szoboszlai has to be moved from the right back. Gomez comes in. Gomez plays right back. So that's already 4 right backs. Gomez gets injured. Then Jones has to play right back. 5 different right backs. And then some of the fan base was calling for Ramsey. That's 6 right backs. Can you see the ludicrousy of us trying to get momentum, trying to get consistency, trying to get results, but we're having plus minus 5 to 6 different right backs playing over the last 6 months? You're not going to get consistency. Hence Salah's numbers dropped off because of that. I think it's because of that. Remember, Trent was so in sync with Salah. They had such a good relationship because they've been playing for years together. Here we think Frimpong playing 2 months with Salah, they need to click. No, it's not going to happen. It's ridiculous. And I think the football fans has to shift their perspective, have a different perspective, and start understanding. I think there's, and I don't want to criticize, and I don't want this to come off very bad, but I think there needs to be more intelligence, football intelligence, when it comes to our fan base, because it's as if we are so superficial. If the result, we're not winning games, we're throwing our toys out of the cot. If we are passing the ball too much to the back, we are going crazy. And it's as if our fan base has been hooked on this Liverpool, drug of great performances, that now that we've been having 6 months of bad performances, it's like we're losing it. We're totally losing our minds, because we are so addicted to that lovely and great football that Klopp brought to the club. So I think perspective is crucial for us to remain sane and for us to be able to lower our heart rate. So just to recap, the fourth thing that's going to help us with having a different perspective is that our team needs consistency in team selection And the only way we're going to get there is if we are not going to have injured players now. That's an impossibility. There will always be injuries. But the amount of injuries we've been having, specifically just on our right back situation, it affects our whole game. It affects our whole team. So I think that's one of the most key things that has affected our performances, the right back, because we are removing players from our midfield to play right back, and our midfield is no longer the same that it was when we won the league. There was consistency, there was that unit, it was solidified, we had cover at the back. Currently now, we are so loose at the back, or loose in the midfield, that teams can just penetrate us so easily and get behind us. The last thing is that goals, we need goals. So why aren't we not having goals? Now remember, Isak was purchased, this record-breaking transfer of Isak was to bring in the goals. Ekitike was still young, but was brought in as a second striker. Now Ekitike, the youngster, he's still young, guys. I think he's 22, 23. The weight on his shoulders now to score all these goals, I think it's unfair. But he's producing brilliant performances. But he needs help. He needs assistance. He needs a team. Goals needs to come from other places as well. Like Szoboszlai needs to score more goals. McAllister needs to score more goals. Gakpo needs to score more goals. Salah, that's coming back, needs to score more goals. We can't be dependent just on one player. And I think that's the mistake we made, because we have been really spoiled with having Salah scoring most of our goals over the last few seasons. And now with Salah not being on form or being away at the AFCON, we are now looking at each other and saying, so where's the goals coming from? So I think that last factor, when it comes to our perspective, is going to help us to understand that we are going to need goals, but it's going to have to come from the team. It's not just going to come from one player, because Ekitike just came into our club, just came into our team, and we need to give him time to settle. Gakpo, Salah, that's coming back from AFCON, needs to up their game. I know most of the fans don't like Gakpo and think he's a one-trick pony. But like Rio, I think Rio needs to get more minutes. I think Chiesa needs to get more minutes. I think Chiesa has goals in it, but you can't just bring up for a few minutes. So we need goals to come from other places as well. So I think that was a mouthful, but those 5 key factors will help you to just gain a different perspective of where our team is at, and not just have this generic outlash when it comes to slot out, or let's get Xavi in, or let's get another manager in. That's not going to solve our problems. We'll have the same players. We have the same problems with injuries. We'll have the same issue with new players integrating. We have the same issues with games coming thick and fast. So we have to, as a fan base, to protect our sanity, we have to start having a different perspective. I hope that was insightful, and I hope that helped some of you. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are, and we'll do this on a daily. Cheers, guys, and remember, you never walk alone.